Hi everyone, welcome back to English for You. I'm Pat.
I'm Shikling.
Today we're going to be looking at the third and final part of this month's story article, A Very Large Expanse of Sea.
And we already know what happens in the story. It's about a 16-year-old Muslim American called Shirin.
She has a hard time because of her religion, especially because she chooses to wear the hijab, a piece of traditional Muslim head clothing.
And the story is set a year after 9/11, so Shirin, as a Muslim, is a target for abuse and insults.
She's often attacked by people as they compare her to a terrorist and say that she supports America's enemies. And because of this, her family end up having to move to new areas or new schools all the time.
At one school, she meets Ocean, who treats her differently, and they start dating.
And he's white, so their relationship becomes the focus of attention.
Both the other students and the school's teachers start bullying them, though. Ocean's coach tries to pressure Shirin to break up with him.
And Ocean punches the coach.
Good job.
However, Shirin's family has to move again, so she and Ocean must separate.
As they drive out of town, Ocean texts Shirin and says, "Don't give up on me."
And we also learn that the experience has made Shirin less angry and less likely to keep other people at a distance.
In the third part of the article, we'll look at some information about the author and the ideas in her book.
Let's check it out.
Reading.
A Very Large Expanse of Sea. A Very Large Expanse of Sea was published in 2018, but set almost 20 years ago. It is based loosely on the real story of its author, Tahira Mafi. Sadly, its central theme remains as relevant today as it was when she was a student. Islamophobia means the hatred of Muslims. It has been a problem for centuries. However, it escalated rapidly after the 9/11 attacks. Although the terrorists behind the attacks claimed to follow Islam, their beliefs had little connection with the peaceful religion. Still, people turned against Muslims all over the U.S. Even today, women like Shirin are targeted because they choose to wear the hijab. In the UK, for example, as much as 45% of Islamophobic crimes were against women wearing hijabs. 18 years have passed since the events in A Very Large Expanse of Sea, yet attitudes have changed very little. That's why the book's message, a message that is too simple to be ignored, is so important. It's time we let more people like Shirin tell their own stories and listen to them.
We start out by seeing that A Very Large Expanse of Sea was published in 2018, but set almost 20 years ago. Now, to publish something, almost always a book, means to make it available for the public to buy and to print a lot of copies to be sold in bookstores. Now, these days, it can just mean to make the book available to download in ebook form from Amazon or one of the other ebook websites. For example, we could say the writer's first short story was published in 2015.
OK， 所以publish 就是出版或发行的意思。那虽然这本书呢是在2018年出版的，但其实故事场景是设定在将近20年前。那我们这个字加上2变成 publisher， 变成出版发行的人或者是出版商都可以。那我们造一个句子哦。The publisher has the copyright on all of this author's books.
Whoa!
就是出版商拥有这名作家拥有他所有书籍的版权。
That's terrible, publisher.
Right.
Give the author back his work. Anyway, so we also see that this story, it is based loosely on the real story of its author, Tahira Mafi. Now, if a story is based on something, that's where it gets the ideas for its character, the plot, the background events, and so on. And here we're saying the story is loosely based on the author's life. Loosely is the opposite of tightly. So here we mean it's not 100%, it's barely 50%. Some of the facts are the same, but many others are different. In terms of loosely and tightly, we could also talk about a pair of shoes being loosely tied, which means they aren't very tight. So often we talk about movies being made from books, and that leads to our example sentence. The movie is loosely based on the book, but it makes a number of important changes.
好，所以 loosely 就是约略、大致的意思哦。那我们把 ly 拿掉呢，它也是个形容词，代表大致的、不精确的。譬如说 ，The novel is a fairly loose adaptation of what happened。那么 loose 也有宽松的、松散的意思。譬如说 ，I like wearing loose shirts because they're more comfortable.
Yeah, so this isn't the author's actual life story and what really happened, but it's maybe taken a few experiences that she had and kind of turned them into a story that has a point. And let's get on to that point now. We see that next the article is saying, sadly, its central theme remains as relevant today as it was when she, the author, was a student. Now we have a few more words to check out in this sentence. First, we have the word central, which is an adjective that means the main or most important thing the adjective is describing. So, Taipei Main Station is Taipei's central bus station, train station, HSR, MRT station. It's the main one. The central point of someone's speech is the most important point they are making. Here's another example. The central idea of the story is that people can learn from their mistakes.
我们看一下 central 这个形容词，它是主要的、首要的或中心的意思，像 Central Park 中央公园。那我们知道 center 这一个字其实它是由它来的哦。那 center 它是个名词，你可以当中心或中央点。好，我们可以说 There's a fountain at the center of the park. And here we're talking about the central theme of the story, and let's find out.
That's right, we're talking about the central theme. A theme is an idea in a story, a play, or even a talk. It's a key idea that repeats several times usually. It's one of the subjects of whatever it is. So the central theme of something is the most important theme or idea in this piece of art.
所以这是主题的意思。那么 central theme 就是主要的主题。We also say that the theme is still relevant.
That's correct. And something that's relevant is important to the current moment or the current topic or subject. For example, if you write a school report, you want to include all the relevant information, the important stuff. If something isn't relevant, you should take it out as it's not important for the result. So by saying that the theme of this story is still relevant, we mean it's still important in the modern world and people still need to think about the meaning of this theme and how it affects people.
所以 relevant 就是意义重大的，那它也有当相关的意思。不过在这边指意义重大，所以让人难过的是呢，这个书探讨的主题在现今社会还是意义很重大。So what exactly is the theme of the story?
Well, our article says Islamophobia means the hatred of Muslims. So a phobia is a fear of something that can't really harm you. For example, I have a bit of a phobia about spiders. Other people have phobias related to cockroaches, the dark, small spaces, all kinds of other things. They can't really hurt you, but you fear they can.
所以我们看一下字尾出现 phobia 这一个字，用来构成代表一个意思是对什么东西的恐惧或厌恶，所以我们这边出现 Islamophobia， 意思就是 fear of Islam， 就是你对伊斯兰教是有恐惧的，但这不是真的恐惧症哦，指的是对伊斯兰教跟穆斯林的偏见啊、反对、仇恨或者是恐惧等等。
So next, the article says Islamophobia, has been a problem for centuries.
So this is not a new problem. We also see that, however, it escalated rapidly after the 9/11 attacks.
If something escalates, it gets bigger and more serious. So if you have a small problem, but you don't do anything to fix it, it could escalate and become a big problem. So what we're saying is that Islamophobia got bigger and more serious after 9/11.
好，看到这一个动词 escalate， 它是使什么变得更严重，变得更糟。那它也有上升的意思，所以伊斯兰恐惧症呢，在这几个世纪以来一直都是个问题。不过，尤其是在9/11事件之后，变得更严重了。那么我们刚刚说到有升高的意思，所以电扶梯就是 escalator。
The article continues, although the terrorists behind the attacks claimed to follow Islam, their beliefs had little connection with the peaceful religion. So a few more words to look at here, starting with the word belief. A belief is something people have. It's something they think is true and which they often make one of the main guiding forces in their life. Now, it could be a belief in a God and the commands of that God's religion. It could be a belief that you need to work hard to succeed, or a belief that family is more important than money, or something else like that. You basically accept this thing is true, even if you don't have proof, or even if the evidence seems to suggest that it's not true, you still think it is true, you believe it. Here's an example. John has a strong belief in his own ability. He doesn't think he'll ever fail at anything.
好 belief 这个字就是信念、看法。那么 beyond belief 就是令人难以置信的。你可以说 The way these people live without electricity is beyond belief， 代表这些人不用电的生活方式令人难以置信。那么它的动词是 believe， 就是相信、信任的意思。So to believe in something， 信奉或确信一件事情。Some people believe in the existence of God， 有些人是确信上帝的存在。
So next up, we have the word connection. We're saying there was little connection between the terrorists at 9/11 and the peaceful religion of Islam. If there is a connection between two things, then these two things are linked in some way. There's some kind of logical relationship between the two that's easy to see or understand. For example, there's a connection between exercise and being healthy, or smoking and getting lung cancer. Now here we're saying that the terrorists on the planes in 9/11 believed things that didn't have much of a connection to the actual commandments of Islam. Here's another example for connection. The police are trying to find out if there's a connection between the two murders.
所以 connection 就是关联啊、关系的意思哦。那么指两个事情之间的关联 ，A 和 B 之间的关联，你可以说 a connection between A and B. We can also use it to describe the way that two people can speak to each other by phone， 就是有通话品质或收讯的意思。那你可以说 I'll call you later. The connection is very bad now. 我晚点再打给你哦，现在收讯不太好。那么 connections， 当你加了一个 s 的话呢，其实 we can talk about like people you know, and these people are usually someone that can help you， 你的人脉。那你可以说 She only got promoted because of her connections.
Now, the final word in that sentence we need to look at is religion. A religion is a system of beliefs in one or more gods and the commands or ideas that the god or gods communicate to humans to sort of this is what you need to do to follow this system. Religion is generally organized and the commands are generally written down. So people who follow that religion try to do all the things that the commands say they should. Some of the major world religions include Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, Hinduism, and Judaism. Some people follow kind of a mixture of religions, particularly here in Taiwan, while other people have no religion at all. Here's an example. One of the commands of this religion is that people should not eat pork.
好 religion 就是宗教，那么它的形容词是宗教上的、虔诚的，你可以说 religious。所以 a deeply religious person 就是在说一个人非常的虔诚。那我们回到课文哦，虽然911攻击的背后恐怖分子声称他们信仰伊斯兰教，不过他们的行为跟这个宗教和平的宗教其实是没有什么关联的。
Okay, so let's get back to the article. We said that the terrorists who committed the 9/11 attacks claimed to follow Islam, though they didn't have strong connections with this peaceful religion. Next, the article says, though, that still people turned against Muslims all over the US. To turn against someone is to enter into a state of not liking that person or group or thing. You liked them before, or at least you didn't dislike them, but something happened, and now you dislike or even hate that person or thing.
Say turn against someone or something 就是跟什么为敌、与谁反目或背弃的意思。但虽然我们前面都讲了恐怖分子还有恐怖攻击，其实大部分都跟穆斯林无关。不过美国的许多人呢，还是会把穆斯林视成是坏人哦。
Next, the article relates Islamophobia to the clothing that Shirin wore in the book. It says, even today, women like Shirin are targeted because they choose to wear the hijab. Now remember how we talked about Shirin being a target in day one of this article? Now here we're using the verb form of the word. To target someone, meaning to aim something at them, or in the passive voice, to be a target for something.
好，这边又出现这个字了。我们前面有提到可以当动词，那现在这边 target，把什么当成目标，你就可以当动词。我们可以造一个句子 ：This company's advertisement is targeted at people that want to lose weight。那么现今社会中，像 Sharon 这样子的戴穆斯林的头巾的女性，还是很常受到攻击。
The article explains further, saying in the UK, for example, as much as 45% of Islamophobic crimes were against women wearing hijabs. Here we use as much as to mean the same as up to. So that's saying that a maximum amount of 45% of Islamophobic crimes, so that's attacks on people just for being Muslim, were related to a woman wearing a hijab.
所以 as much as 是多达，所以例如在英国就有高达45% 的人是针对伊斯兰教的罪行，然后这些罪行呢，都是因为以戴着头巾的女性当成目标的。
The article goes on to say, 18 years have passed since the events in a very large expanse of sea, yet attitudes have changed very little.
Next it says, that's why the book's message, a message that is too simple to be ignored, it's so important.
We've just seen today's grammar pattern using to adjective, to plus verb pattern. If something is too whatever, then it has too much of that quality, and it prevents something from happening. And the thing that it prevents is expressed by the to plus verb. For example, we could say it's too hot to go out, or I'm too tired to work, or this is too hard to understand. We're saying that the high amount of this quality expressed by the adjective is making it impossible to do something expressed by the verb. For example, I'm too angry to talk to Simon right now. I have to calm down first.
好 ，to 怎么样又怎么样？这个就是太怎么样呢？以至于不能怎么样。那形容词可以代换成副词也可以。所以这本书传达的意义非常的单纯嘛，好懂到不该被忽略哦。Too simple to be ignored 就代表这意义很重要，不应该被忽略。那么教一下同学如何代换成类似的句型，你也可以说原本是 a message that is too simple to be ignored， 这是本课的用法，可以改成 a message that is so simple that it cannot be ignored。或者是呢 ，a message that is not difficult or complex enough to be ignored。所以在改写的时候呢，因为第一个句型本身就有否定的意义了，另外两个句型没有否定意义，所以你必须要加入否定词 not， 然后再随句意去改变形容词或副词，让三句的意义一样。
The last sentence in the article says, it's time we let more people like Shirin tell their own stories and listen to them.
And that brings us to the end of the article and today's For You Chat question.
For You Chat!
So our For You Chat question for today is, what do you know about Islam and Islamic clothing? Have you heard anything about them that you know is false?
I guess I've read quite a bit about more about the history of Islam and its development from around the sort of 5th century AD up until now. I haven't really studied the exact beliefs of everything. I haven't studied, kind of really gotten into how Islam and Islamophobia kind of affects world politics particularly. I'm more kind of familiar with some of the older history. One thing that I've heard that is definitely false is that women are forced to wear that hijab.
Oh.
Now, in some countries, that is actually true. The religion is very conservative in some countries, and women have basically said, you wear it, that's it, no argument. Saudi Arabia is one country. I think Iran maybe is another. But for Muslims living in other parts of the world, they do get a choice.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to think if anything else that I absolutely know to be false. Not really. Nothing that I get. A lot of people say this, but it's not true.
Oh, okay.
No, that's probably the main one.
Well, I had this friend. I mean, her father forces her to wear it, but she doesn't want to wear it.
Right. So, I mean, that comes down to sort of more family rather than, I mean, I guess the rules in the Quran, the Islamic kind of commandments book, like the rules in the Bible or in the other religious books, sometimes they get modified with time and different groups take different interpretations of how strictly to enforce versus what the words actually mean. And some are very hard and say everything it says, we must do exactly this. And other groups will say, well, as long as you do these things and believe in Allah and kind of like follow the right way to do things, it's all good. So I guess not every Muslim is hardline. I guess that might be a thing people would say, that all Muslim is kind of black and white. It's very strong conservative Muslim beliefs. But depending on where in the world you go and who you talk to and which groups of Muslims, different ones are completely less conservative, and it's all about people, their relationship with God, their relationship with one another. That's the key part of the religion. Well, that is the end of today's article. It's all the time we have. Thanks for watching, everybody. For English for You, I'm Pat.
I'm Chickling.
We'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
A very large expanse of sea. A very large expanse of sea was published in 2018, but set almost 20 years ago. It is based loosely on the real story of its author, Tahira Mafi. Sadly, its central theme remains as relevant today as it was when she was a student. Islamophobia means the hatred of Muslims. It has been a problem for centuries. However, it escalated rapidly after the 9/11 attacks. Although the terrorists behind the attacks claimed to follow Islam, their beliefs had little connection with the peaceful religion. Still, people turned against Muslims all over the U.S. Even today, women like Shirin are targeted because they choose to wear the hijab. In the UK, for example, as much as 45% of Islamophobic crimes were against women wearing hijabs. 18 years have passed since the events in A Very Large Expanse of Sea, yet attitudes have changed very little. That's why the book's message, a message that is too simple to be ignored, is so important. It's time we let more people like Shirin tell their own stories and listen to them.
Vocabulary Review.
Publish. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone was published in 1997 and made into a movie in 2001. Loosely. The story about Snow White borrows loosely from the story of a real woman, Maria Sophia von Earthal. Central. The central message of the mayor's speech was that more needs to be done for the city's homeless. Belief. Ryan and his mother have different political beliefs and they vote for different parties. Connection. Many people have studied the connection between the food Japanese people eat and living a long life. Religion. There are 3 main religions in India: Buddhism, Hinduism, and Sikhism.
字汇小补帖
Theme. Relevant. Escalate.
以上节目是由活用空中美语制作，活用空中美语杂志，请洽询全国各大书店。如欲索取试听教材，请来电02-2364-4000 02-2364-4000，或上网查询，网址是 www.english4u.net www.english4u.net